One of the best ways of catching big weights in summer is shallow fishing. And the most important part of shallow fishing is your feeding. That catching zone of between 6 inch and a foot, whatever depth you're catching at, you can imagine the 4mm pellets, it's a split second before they're out of that zone. So it's really important to keep the pellets going in all the time. Sometimes you might need 6-7 pints of pellets to feed roughly about a pint an hour, I always go for. General rule of thumb for me is the starting depth is 16 inch, which is from my fingertip to my elbow. That's what I'll always set my ultimate bagging rig, shall we say, for shallow F1 fishing. But that don't mean to say you're going to catch them there on that day or you're going to catch them there all day. So it's always worth having 3 or 4 different rigs set up just with 2 or 3 inches difference. You know, all the way down to 4 or 6 inch to 2 foot deep. They can just change how they want to feed at any time of the day. And the most important part of shallow fishing is your feeding. Especially for F1s, you've got to keep constantly feeding. Like I've just fed 2 or 3 times then before I've shipped out, so they're there, they're waiting for me. Now, because my rig's so short, I've got to take my time in shipping out, otherwise I'll tangle it. Just steadily across my knee, I'll get out to where I've fed, and 2 or 3 slaps, and hopefully there'll be one waiting. Because there's such a short lash, this should pull the elastic out. If you fish with a longer lash, because they're so cute at feeding, you're going to miss bites. There we have one on. Now, ship it back, feed again. Ship it back onto the rollers, halfway back, feed again. And all this is doing all the time is keeping those fish feeding whilst you're playing another fish. You've got to think about the next fish that you're going to catch, not just about the one that you're playing. So keep the top kit nice and low, 1 or 2 pulls on the puller, and as soon as you feel like it's ready to be netted, raise the pole tip up and the fish should come straight up into the net. All these little things accumulate to catching a bigger weight at the end of the match. Like I say, it's all about concentrating on the fish that you're playing, your next fish that you're going to catch. You've just got to constantly think about the different things that all add up to catching the bigger weight at the end.